are there questions that you are consistently being asked? And then make sure that you tell the marketers in your company, look, people are coming to me with this question all the time. Can we make some content that like kind of preempts this question up front?
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Leads to Growth. I'm your host, Chris McCoy. We're with the National Association of Sales Professionals. And today we've got someone from the other side of the pond over here with us. And also a second-time new daddy here. So congratulations. We've got Steffen Hedebrandt from dreamdata.io, co-founder of. How are you doing today, Steffen?
I'm doing good, Chris. And thank you so much for the invite. The second child around here is a little bit more easy sleeping than the first one. So we're actually doing quite okay so far.
Very nice. Very nice. That's awesome. We'll get it in while you can. I'm sure. Great today. Who knows what happens tomorrow, right? But
fingers crossed.
Exactly. So for all you don't know, Steffen's got a great career in understanding SEO and blogging and all these different things. And in coming from marketing perspective, we're coming from a place where advertising and marketing dollars were spent, and there was really no way to leverage or understand ROI. There were billboards and magazines and TV, and there was a lot of guesswork when it came to what resulted in what. And for a long time, marketing was in a very unique place because it was almost like this industry that people couldn't measure, but it had a value. And today things are so different now with the internet. Online, everything's trackable, everything is attributed to some type of success. And Dream Data, which Steffen co-founded, now is a revenue attribution company, which focuses on, for marketers, is amazing, but focuses on basically allowing them to know where the revenues are coming from, what marketing campaigns, et cetera, et cetera. Steffen, am I on track here with what y'all do?
Yeah, not too far off, Chris. Today we think about ourselves as a B2B go-to-market data platform. And essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to get any touch that touches your account along the path from the first touch until they sign a deal with you. We want to map out for you, get it out of the silos that it lives within, so that the marketers gets to understand which campaigns are good. And by good, meaning that the salespeople actually like to put it into the sales pipeline and they actually win these campaigns. Vice versa, we also help the salespeople understand, or like help them not be blindfolded at demo calls, so they can actually go back and look at the path that that this account took to this demo call. Or if they're being active without actually writing to sales, you can also discover that and like adjust your messaging according to it. So all in all, we take all the touches that lives in several different silos, your CRM, your marketing automation, your website, your ad platforms, etc., plot it into a nice clean journey of every account. And then the sales and marketing teams can utilize that to be more effective in their day-to-day work.
I love that. And you know what? I was honestly thinking about this from the marketing perspective, but not from the salesperson's perspective, and what value that is going into the call, knowing, look, all the marketing content that we put out there, we know what you clicked on. We know the exact channels. Maybe it was a specific niche in what we offer and what we do. And I can be more prepared on that sales call to present that side of the spectrum.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then the way Dream Data works is that it basically, we map the journey of the account all the way through to the account being closed won or not. So you could say when you score goals in Dream Data, it means that the salespeople signed a contract with your company, was the new business contract. So, and we take that revenue component then and place back at all the activities that led up to winning the deal. So it's not about like coming up with new marketing metrics that sound sexy or cool. It's about, we need to win more contracts, and this is the path that people typically takes when we win contracts. So marketers can go out and run more of those campaigns that led to those deals into the sales pipeline when you want them. But sales can also, look at what is the account doing at any given time, trying to come up with the right messaging at the right timing and so forth.
Ah, that's great. Because I mean, look at our cold emails and our outreach, right? Oh, you got a lead in your CRM and you send them just a template, right? But why not hyper focus that template? Hey, I see you clicked on XYZ, or I see you're interested in such and such, right? This is a great way to automate some personalization as well as we move forward in this process. What got you into, I mean, obviously co-founding this great resource, and it's almost like a dashboard hub of everything going on around all the systems. What brought you to this place, Steffen?
Yeah, so in my old company, I was part of this like growth journey where we went from somewhere around 20 employees to around 100 employees.
Nice.
And going from spending $0 on ads to spending maybe $100,000 a month on ads. And we were selling to schools and businesses. So, you know, when you put the first money into the ad platforms, you have kind of an idea about where does it trickle down in terms of sales later on. But the last 10,000, last 20,000 you put in there, you're, am I really spending the company's money in the right way? And for me, spending marketing money the right way means producing sales pipeline. There's no other way. Like, you can do the best marketing in the world, but if the salespeople don't pick up on the leads that you've brought in, you know,
what have you done?
If not wasted, then there's at least not a lot of value coming out of your work. So you need to be best friends with your salespeople.
Absolutely. I think, I think sales and marketing, we have had somebody call it smarketing here on the, on the podcast, but they're so closely related. And even some of our, like that whole SDR role we've talked here before, how, that used to be a telemarketing role, now it's an SDR sales development role. And it's this blend where marketing and sales kind of come together. And this, what you're really talking about really makes that interchange very seamless, one, but also it allows them to share information back and forth with it, which I also think is very valuable.
If you switch that around, then like as a customer, you couldn't give less about whether the company you're speaking to is defining you as a marketing leader or sales leader. They're just experiencing one customer journey where they're trying to understand your product that maybe happens in marketing, but later on they're talking with a salesperson. But it's all the same journey that these people are on, and you want to make it look like the same journey as well.
Absolutely. I love this. So in this area, Steffen, what problem did you see in the market that really allowed you to push this through?
So so if we talk B2B in general, there's a couple of things that makes it very hard for me and other marketers to explain why we're doing what's working. Basically, the easiest way to be successful is to know what worked in the past, and then you replicate those kind of tactics. But it's not that simple in marketing in B2B, because journeys are typically more than 6 months. We put out some benchmarks showcasing that there's an average of 31 sessions involved in winning a deal. There's there's a couple of people involved. B2Bs are buying as a team, so you have these this very complex customer journey, and that's just how it is, and that's how sales are done. But that's a really big problem if you're a marketer spending money on advertising, because all the tools or like the advertising platforms out there is intended for like understanding the behavior of an individual. So I'll give you an example. So if Chris comes and clicks on an ad and arrives on our website, and then Chris has a boss or a colleague that takes over the kind of that customer journey, then the money you spend getting Chris to the website, it just looks like it's wasted, because it never converted into a deal. But then I may come a month later because Chris started the journey, then Steffen comes and signed the contract. So the problem is that the marketing activity is typically detached from the revenue component, which is when sales win deals. And that's a huge problem, because that means that either you're wasting money or you're spending much less than what you could be spending driving more sales pipeline for the salespeople.
Absolutely. It's something that we struggle with, right now. You've got so many different touches, so many different, impressions, and you're not quite sure what is actually making the impression, even if they're views. Sometimes they're views, and, but you don't know what's really triggering. I think a lot of this comes from, going through the time to take customer, surveys. talking to your customers, finding out what they're experiencing, how they're finding things. And yeah, this still can take a long time. And also your customer's only going to give you their conscious recollection based on all their biases and everything else that they're thinking of. They're not going to tell you all the little other subconscious things that happen, the places that they saw, the links that they maybe clicked on that don't remember, or the 3 other pages that they passed through on the page. So I really like this concept. And you know, it's tough to track. And, you know, we use HubSpot very often and for our CRM, and integrating and pulling everything to HubSpot is just an ongoing growing challenge, because there's always something new, something else. How do you continue to maintain? I mean, how do you grab all these resources and make them readable? What is the? It seems like so much data, but I can't even imagine processing the data and understanding it in a usable way. How do you bring that to the table?
So you can say kind of that's our secret sauce, or
okay.
No, I'm happy. I'm gonna explain it. Don't worry. But that's kind of that's what we do for our customers. We extract all the data out of all the different silos that it's within, and then we get all of it into one data warehouse. And there we've built algorithms that then cleans it up and, you know, deduplicates the people and, you know, make it into a nice account-based timeline and so forth, and enrich it if that's needed. So that's essentially what we're doing, is that you'll find a lot of software that can extract data from somewhere and then dump it into a data warehouse. But what our algorithms are doing are that they are refining it and building this account-based data model. And then we have made we have an application that contains pre-made analysis that we feel are super relevant, but you can also access the data warehouse that we have refined for you with your own BI tool and ask questions that are specific to your business.
I love this. What kind of success are salespeople seeing by using tools like this? What kind of feedback are you getting from sales teams based on this?
So I would say there's 2 really core use cases, and then there's a challenge that I will just mention at the end.
Awesome.
So there's the one thing is when you're sitting at that demo call, you can go back and look at every single URL that this account viewed, no matter how many people is involved in the journey. So you get to understand what are the topics that they're looking at. You can see which channels.
Real quick, this is very important. So, and I think you said it a couple times, and I think I might have overlapped it, but it's all very account based. And so all the people that are involved in the account are all tracked in one area, so that you're able to see the multiple touches that happen within a buying group.
Exactly, Chris. So yeah, everything we do is account based. We're not looking at individuals. We always, if we can, associate you with an account. So that also means that we can look at, when you win accounts, they typically look at these URLs. So if they're present, that's a pretty decent lead score. But it's also getting your topics right for the demo call, like understanding the path that they took. Did you meet them at a conference? Did they come through the website? Did they search anything particular on Google before they converted? So that's the one use case. The other one is being able to see any moving bit on any account at any point of time. And what we use that for is, you can say, the scenario where we need to decide which accounts to spend our time on and what message to hit them up with. And our salespeople do that every day. So we have a filter where you can select the accounts that you own in your CRM. And then you can see what were the last activity. And the last activity might be that they just were on the website reading XYZ article, but they didn't reach out to you. So the message you would then be writing would be, hey, could be just like, hey, what's up? I just saw you back on our website. Anything I can do for you? Or it could be related to whatever topic they were studying on your website at that point. And the thing is that accounts have movements a lot of places. You know, they might be asking customer success something on chat, and then they might be in your marketing automation, and you had a meeting with them last week, and somebody are on your website just researching organically. And because we unify all the data, then if it moves anywhere, you'd see it in one place.
Yeah, that's impressive. You know, with B2B sales.
I promise the challenge though.
Yes, the challenge.
Is that salespeople love living inside of their CRM system, and this is to, you know, we can put data back into the CRM system, but to get the rich information, you need to go into green data to access it.
Got it. So so that does bring up that extra piece of, opportunity for app or technology weariness or whatever it is. Like there's so many different tools to go into, and this seems to be more of a high level planning tool, but also a prep tool for meetings, right? Like it's but I can definitely see how, the Salesforce and HubSpot, man, they always find a way to get everybody to pull everything back in somehow. So you never know, someday you might be having some in-house dashboards over there.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think, you're right, Chris. Yeah, that will happen at some point.
Awesome. So now tell me one other thing. Are you using AI at all to leverage learning from this tool, all this data coming into one place?
Yeah, so now I might not be the best person to define AI, but you can say all the work that our algorithms are doing for you all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's AI, but we're at least helping you do a lot of work. We have though released a recent. We have created a data-driven attribution model, which is AI based, and what it basically does for you is it looks across all your customer journeys, say all the ones that reached sales opportunity, and then it helps point out this email is consistently present when they reach the sales opportunity, or
so some high level insights.
Yeah, exactly. Like what are the things that are commonly present when they actually make it all the way to the opportunity stage? And that hopefully helps you understand, okay, these are some of the things that we can go out and do more of. And or the other way around, if you have a lot of stuff going on that is never present when they actually go to deal one or opportunity, then you might want to stop those things and like redistribute the resources to other things that do have an impact.
Yeah, I would imagine, I think in our CRMs we get data on the conversion of emails, open rates, and things like that. But where I think it might be really valuable is the order of information. Like, oh, hey, you brought them to such and such meeting without having, the 5 out of 10 went to your first meeting without having received this piece of information, and those deals didn't go to close or didn't advance or something like that. Like finding missing pieces of information that maybe they acquired in the marketing cycle that I didn't provide them in the sales cycle, but it was just a missing piece that brought them there. Like those types of insights, I think would be really valuable because, email rates and send rates, that'll tell us, oh yeah, this email converts well, this one doesn't convert well. But then when you find out all the other steps that along the way, and you're like, oh yeah, this one converts well because XYZ steps were met. This one doesn't convert well, but it was missing one step based on, compared to the other one. And I think those insights are invaluable.
Yeah, exactly. And then kind of a company can only spend its money once. So do you want to be like, you want to do the thing that creates the more new opportunities and more new deals won. Sometimes it's a BDR that is highly effective. But what if you had like certain pieces of content that were always driving new meetings for you, and you even have a backlog of articles related to this content you could also be writing? Or whether it's the ads that are working. You just want to make sure that you invest the company's money as effectively as possible. And that means doing the stuff that generates the pipeline, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Steffen, you have a history in the blogging world. A lot of the B2B funnels I'm noticing online right now are, seem to be very, very typical there, where there's articles, blog articles, then a nice piece of downloadable content exchanged for email, and HubSpot does an amazing job. It seems like they've got a lead magnet for every single blog that they make. It's unreal. There's a template for that. There's a this for that. And they're all SEO optimized. They do such an exceptional job of staying top page of Google on every single place and offering you something valuable. That type of there's got to be, I must have downloaded 100 funnels. So to be able to process, when you're a company of that size, to be able to process all that data, That's where I imagine you become really, really valuable, is when you really enter into those big enterprise deals, when they are everywhere and there's so many pieces, when people have seen 50 pieces or impressions of content, or 100 even, and you're like, oh yeah, well, how do we know what did what? Sifting through those pieces, I think that's where you all become a really big asset, is when the data becomes outside of just my email list and my social media shares and my blog.
Yeah, I wish we had their website.
Jeez.
They're dominating
They really are.
the internet. I can speak in general. I feel that you should think about as a website as a way to answer any question that anyone might ask related to your company or product. And the way for the salespeople to think about this out there is to think about other questions that you are consistently being asked, and then make sure that you tell the marketers in your company, look, people are coming to me with this question all the time. Can we make some content that like kind of preempts this question up front? So the next sales conversation I have, I know that they at least had an opportunity to read info about this, or I can refer to it as they asked the question. Because if you consistently do that, then you make your way through kind of what are the most like commonly asked questions about your business, which is going to make your sales conversations a lot easier, because you know that you preempted some of the questions that might be out there. And it's impossible as a rep to remember like thorough answers to everything. So you want to have your marketers write like a once and for all answer to, let's say, a tough question. And then with software like ours, we can also then help tell you which of those pieces of content are then present when you win deals and which are not. But I would say more in general lines of thought, just make sure you tell marketers the questions you're consistently being asked, because then they can help you deal with that question in a smooth way.
Absolutely. And it's such a simple concept that I think maybe overlooked so often, is, getting that feedback from your sales team. Really, and I think more and more now marketing and sales are working really well together. Whereas in the past, I believe there was a little bit more of abrasiveness there. But now, I'm hearing a lot more marketers really seeking out from their sales teams, meeting with them on a weekly or monthly basis, and getting that information so that they can pump their marketing full of the remaining answers or questions that end up at the salespeople's hands. And I think that's invaluable.
Yeah, like bring them along to sales calls, have them sitting on the weekly pipeline meeting, etc. They don't have to do anything. They just need to like, what is the dialogue we're having here? What are the consistent themes? So they like fill their brain with like, how can we help the salespeople with this thing, with marketing tactics?
I love that. So I love the mute too, because you got the two kids in the background. Woo, Steffen. So a lot of people are selling into, and this is an interesting question for you. B2B sales. A lot of times we're selling into multiple departments. In a technology or a tool like yours, I would imagine sales and marketing are both probably a part of this buying process. How does your sales team handle that when you're selling cross department? If I'm a B2B salesperson and I'm out there like selling to a program that's cross department, how do you manage that sale?
So we have 3 to 5 people involved in our deals when they're signed. It relates a little bit to us being software, so you can actually invite your colleagues to try it out. But in general, you need to think about how many stakeholders are normally present when you win a deal. For us, it's typically marketing. Then there's some sales or rev ops people involved. Maybe there's an economic buyer like your CFO or a CRO or whatever that be. Maybe there's even some kind of IT person helping to validate. And I think the biggest or a big mistake you can make as a salesperson is like, celebrate that one good meeting with one person and then try to sneak the deal through those people. Because then when the opposition starts to arrive, you haven't actually met those people that are kind of against the decision. So use it as something that you proactively know. Shouldn't we bring in the ops person here, or shouldn't we I think actually Gong put out some cool info about the more people you get on the deals, the more likely it is to close.
Mm.
So like, try to build like a buying committee, and just, don't be satisfied with having one good meeting with one person, like, but keep broadening the team.
Absolutely. I love that. And I think it's, it comes with being transparent. You said, don't try to sneak it through when you get that one or celebrate that win, right? Because of course, if you win somebody over, there's going to be somebody else within the executive team that's going to embrace it, be abrasive to it. Right. And we always talk about, I had a great conversation with a buddy of mine who runs him and his partner run a podcasting company, and they were having problems with getting the deal closed, and these deals closed that they were working, and they were like, look, we win over the person, and then we go to close the deal with the next people and everything, and we just don't get to the finish line. And what we had realized is they weren't taking the time to build the rapport that they had built with the podcast guests. Podcast guests would come in, they'd have great rapport, having this conversation. Oh, we love each other. Steffen, great. Yeah, Steffen's like, yeah, Chris, let's bring you in, man. Come on over. Let's talk to the team. Let's bring him in. And I roll to the team, and I just start going right to strategy. And here's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. I already talked to Steffen. We're on it. And they're like, I don't even know who you are. You haven't made me feel certain yet. You haven't made me feel significant yet. And now I'm automatically no to whatever you're offering. And I think that is just a huge piece for people to remember. Who is on your buying team? Hey, when this decision goes down, who's involved in the decision? And why is the decision important for you?
Yeah, if you're getting ghosted by that one person, it's nice to have like 2 or 3, 4 more people you can actually go to, like poke around, view their LinkedIn profiles again. So don't pretend that it doesn't exist. There's always a buying committee. So use it more than like trying to like put your head in the ground or whatever.
Absolutely. Steffen, another question for you. Now, as you're selling these tools into, you're probably selling in the marketing or the higher level financial buyer. What are the problems that you are solving for the sales team specifically? So I'm a salesperson out there, and I'm out there selling my B2B sales, and I'm like, hey, this sounds interesting. What are the problems that I'm having right now that I'm like, oh, this would fix those?
Yeah, so we typically sell more to marketers than to salespeople, and then
Sure.
we afterward invite the salespeople in.
So it's the second value. So basically, for the salespeople, they're the ones like, oh, we notice the value because we now get better leads, more informed leads, and more educated leads to our sales table now.
Yeah, so you can say there's the rep AE level, which is like know which of your accounts are active and what to write them. And then also when you're in the meeting situation, know what they've been interested in. And then you can say there's the leadership level, where kind of if you want to produce predictable revenue, you need to know how much time does it take from being an MQL to an SQL to a one deal. How big a part of this should marketing source? How big a deal of this should your outbound team source? So if you want to have that kind of predictable revenue, then marketing needs to be accountable for, let's say, 50% of the pipeline. And then you can go in and understand whether marketing are actually meeting these things or not. If they're not, you can count on yourself being stretched thin in the next quarter because they haven't actually produced enough demand for you guys to have a chance to hit your sales budget.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So if you're sales, I mean, revenue attributes are not just a dream data isolation thing. What they do is that they help revenue operations manage these things and get better at them, see them from a higher plane, but see through the forest to the trees, right, to see the actual what's happening. But I think this is something that everybody needs to realize out there. When you're taking a sales call, know the journey. Yeah, you may have to go look around a little bit. Okay, so what? So be it. Maybe reach out to your marketing team. Maybe know what marketing is getting sent out. Don't just know your emails that are going out. Know what marketing they saw. And I think this is a huge value for people that are out there selling. Come prepared. Know the journey that they took, no matter what effort it takes to get there, but know the journey that they took to get to the table. This is essentially important.
Yeah. You think about a buying situation where you go to 2 vendors and the one vendor actually shows that he cared enough to actually go through that process versus sitting in this call where they're like, oh, what's your website? And then like you're just like, fuck, I don't have time for you not caring enough about me. So, and I totally agree, Chris. Like, come prepared. And I think something that we've learned a little bit at Dream Data has been like, if our reps gets too busy, then the quality of the meetings that they have drop a little bit too much, because they don't have that 15 minutes, 30 minutes before or after the call to follow up or to do the research. So I think as a sales manager, you should also make sure that there's buffer times in the calendars. Otherwise, the performance will drop, even though you have enough demand to fill their calendars completely. Then it's probably a better decision to hire more sales reps than to keep pumping in more meetings.
Dude, that's a brilliant concept. I don't think we've ever discussed and I know it personally. I know personally to book my calendar, but I'm not subject to somebody looking at my KPIs and expecting just a high number, right? And that's it. And a high number is not necessarily a good number, because a high number of meetings that I had meant I had less time to prepare for each of those meetings. And I think that is huge, Steffen. That's
also to follow up, like go through, what did we talk about? What did I promise? How can I make it move to the next step? And if you're too busy, you drop the balls on too many things.
100%. And you know as well as I do that even having a day full of I've even in the past gone, okay, I'm gonna ram through these meetings and I'll take care of the stuff at the end of the day. Even at the end of the day, you're like, I don't even remember what we talked about in that meeting, earlier at 8 a.m. I don't remember. I'm done. I know what the topic was, but I don't remember the details of it. So, and then I'll read my chicken scratch notes. I'm like, well, that's not doing me any good. I don't even know what swalagata is, But I think it's so important for sales managers out there to understand that if you're going to have a KPI for your sales team, know that you want it in a good area. You don't want just a high number. Higher number means lower quality. Higher quantity is gonna mean lower quality once you get past a certain threshold. Now that's a little ace in the hole you dropped for us there, Steffen. I appreciate that one. Hey, Steffen, where can people find information on Dream Data? And is there a freemium? What's the way to get started with Dream Data? Just reach out, set up a demo.
Yeah, so we do have a free product that people can just go in and try out, and it's a bit like a Google Analytics just for B2B companies. So it's set up for you to you start tracking with us, and then once you want to know and connect your CRM system, you can do that later on. Okay. So just dreamdata.io, and if people want to ask me a question, they can just search me out on LinkedIn. I'll be happy to reply any kind of question there.
Awesome. Yeah, you can definitely find Steffen, Hedebrandt. That's Steffen. You can definitely find him on LinkedIn and dreamdata.io, y'all. Listen, 7 leads with value leads and money follows. So if you've got some questions, if it sounds curious, if you're insightful, give him a ring, reach out, ask him some questions. If you're a salesperson out there that wants to know more about revenue attributes and why there's insanely valuable, I'm sure Steffen would like to drop some knowledge on you for that as well. And look, if you're out there taking sales meetings and you don't know the marketing or the journey that your customer got to get there, know that your competitor does. And then when you both show up to the table and you go, oh, hey, so tell me a little bit more about your company. This is, what's the name again? And the other one says, oh, hey, you guys have had great success. Really proud of the work you've done. And I saw that you visited such and such and viewed the other emails. Would you like to talk about this topic that you viewed already? They win, you lose. That's as clear as day. You know what it feels like. Nobody wants to go. And especially when it took you this much time to get the meeting. And for me, I'm like, I can't believe I took the meeting. I don't even have time for the meeting, right? And then I show up to the call, and now I got to start from scratch and not even remember the email conversation we had. Oh, Steffen, that irks me. It really irks me. Yeah. Well, all right, buddy. Well, hey, listen, we're going to cut this off. I know you got those kids over there. Man, super dad over here, man, working, playing. He's got the kids, and dad's probably taking care of mama right now, too, I'm sure. You better be taking care of mama.
What's it called? Happy wife, happy life, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's a definitely a good known saying for sure. All right, y'all. Well, listen, we always have fun here, and we always bring a lot of value that leads to growth. And Steffen, thank you so much for joining us, sir. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for the invite, Chris, and have a great day.
Awesome. All right, y'all. That's Leads to Growth. We're the National Association of Sales Professionals. Make sure you join now if you're not already. Subscribe to our newsletter. We got a weekly newsletter that's out now, and Steffan's going to have a great video coming up there, which I haven't even told him about yet, but he's going to give you a couple of tips on revenue attributes and how it can make your sales better and how to make you close more deals. You like that, Steffen? Yeah, he does. All right, y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Cheers.